LOS-E. Apply SWOT, PESTEL, STEEP, gap analysis, and situational analysis to a given scenario. Applying SWOT analysis involves identifying internal strengths and weaknesses alongside external opportunities and threats within a specific scenario. Strengths may include brand reputation, cost efficiency, or proprietary technology, while weaknesses may involve limited capital or operational inefficiencies. Opportunities could arise from emerging markets or regulatory changes, whereas threats may stem from competitors or economic downturns. The key to effective application is linking internal capabilities with external conditions to generate actionable strategic alternatives rather than producing a static list of factors. PESTEL and STEEP analyses are used to systematically evaluate macro-environmental forces affecting the organization in a given context. PESTEL considers political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, ecological, and legal factors, while STEEP focuses on similar dimensions with slight categorization differences. In application, managers assess how each factor influences demand, cost structures, regulatory exposure, or competitive dynamics. These tools help identify external drivers of change and inform risk management and long-term planning, though they require careful interpretation to avoid overly broad or superficial conclusions. Gap analysis and situational analysis help assess strategic alignment and performance shortfalls. Gap analysis compares current performance or capabilities with desired future objectives, identifying areas requiring improvement or investment. Situational analysis integrates both internal and external assessments to provide a comprehensive understanding of the organization's strategic position. When applied effectively, these tools guide prioritization of initiatives and resource allocation. However, their value depends on realistic assumptions, accurate data, and integration into decision-making rather than isolated analytical exercises. Industry Economic Market Structure. LOS-F. Describe how industry competitive structure can impact an organization's strategy: pure competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, monopoly. In pure competition, many firms offer largely identical products, and no single company can influence market price. Entry and exit barriers are low, and price is determined by overall supply and demand. Because differentiation is minimal, firms compete primarily on cost efficiency and operational effectiveness. Strategic focus is often on achieving economies of scale, cost leadership, and tight expense control. Profit margins tend to be thin, making productivity, supply chain optimization, and efficient resource allocation critical for survival and long-term sustainability. In monopolistic competition, numerous firms compete by offering differentiated products or services. Although many competitors exist, branding, quality, customer service, and innovation create perceived differences that allow some pricing flexibility. Strategy in this structure emphasizes differentiation, marketing effectiveness, customer loyalty, and niche targeting. Firms must continuously innovate to sustain competitive advantage and avoid imitation. Barriers to entry are moderate, so maintaining brand strength and customer relationships becomes essential for defending market position and preserving profitability. In an oligopoly, a small number of large firms dominate the market, and each firm's actions significantly affect competitors. Strategic decisions often involve anticipating rival responses, leading to interdependence and potential price leadership. Competition may occur through non-price factors such as product features, advertising, and innovation to avoid destructive price wars. High entry barriers protect incumbents, but rivalry can be intense. Strategic planning requires careful analysis of competitor behavior, regulatory scrutiny, and potential strategic alliances or differentiation strategies. In a monopoly, a single firm controls the market, often due to high entry barriers, legal protections, or control of critical resources. The monopolist has significant pricing power but may face regulatory oversight to prevent abuse. Strategy focuses less on competitive rivalry and more on managing public perception, regulatory compliance, operational efficiency, and innovation to maintain legitimacy. Although profitability may be high, complacency can reduce innovation and long-term competitiveness, particularly if technological change or deregulation introduces new entrants. Industry segmentation. LOS-G. Discuss the importance of an organization identifying its industry segmentation, i.e., identifying the business or businesses it is in and who its competitors are. Correctly identifying industry segmentation is essential because it defines the scope of competition and strategic positioning. Organizations must clearly determine which business or businesses they are truly in, rather than relying on narrow product definitions. A company that defines itself too narrowly may overlook substitute products or emerging competitors, while defining itself too broadly may dilute focus. Accurate segmentation ensures clarity regarding target markets, customer needs, and value propositions, which directly influence competitive strategy and long-term profitability. Industry segmentation helps management identify direct competitors, indirect competitors, and substitute offerings. Without proper segmentation, a firm may underestimate competitive threats or misjudge industry boundaries. Strategic groups within an industry may compete differently based on pricing, quality, or distribution channels. Recognizing these distinctions allows organizations to benchmark performance accurately, assess rivalry intensity, and position themselves effectively within the most attractive segments. Proper segmentation also supports resource allocation and growth decisions. By distinguishing among different business lines or segments, management can evaluate profitability, growth potential, and risk exposure within each segment. This enables informed decisions about expansion, divestment, market penetration, or diversification. Ultimately, identifying industry segmentation enhances strategic clarity, reduces misalignment, and strengthens the organization's ability to achieve sustainable competitive advantage. H. Identify and explain the various bases for industry segmentation, including structural differences in products or buyers and value chain differences. Industry segmentation can be based on structural differences in products or services, such as variations in quality, features, technology, pricing models, or customization levels. Products may serve fundamentally different needs even within the same broad industry. For example, premium versus budget offerings may require distinct production processes and marketing approaches. These structural differences influence cost structures, customer expectations, and competitive positioning, making it important to analyze segments separately rather than assuming uniform industry characteristics. Segmentation may also arise from differences in buyer groups or customer characteristics. Buyers may vary in purchasing power, usage patterns, service expectations, or geographic concentration. Retail consumers, commercial clients, and government entities often have distinct requirements and decision-making processes. Understanding these differences allows firms to tailor pricing strategies, distribution methods, and customer service approaches to each segment, improving strategic alignment and value creation. Another important basis for segmentation involves value chain differences, including sourcing, production processes, distribution systems, and after-sales service models. Some segments may rely heavily on digital platforms, while others depend on physical retail networks. Variations in logistics complexity or supplier relationships can create distinct cost drivers and competitive dynamics. Recognizing value chain differences helps firms identify opportunities for cost advantages, differentiation, or strategic partnerships within specific segments.